Good morning, 7:07 a.m. here on KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. And look who is in our studio, Lubbock City Council man.
Well,
or would you prefer
Karen Gibson,
gender-neutral person?
You're going by Karen Gibson.
I'm going to have to raise my voice a few octaves, I guess, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, it's Councilman Jeff Griffith.
I'm substituting.
Yeah, subbing for Karen.
Yeah, she had an emergency come up, and we hope all is well there. But she called me and she says, "Is there any way that I could be here?" And I'm tickled to be here. I'm not sure you are tickled to have me, but I'm here.
Councilman,
always,
you said
always tickled to have you.
You said not those two yahoos again. That's
they're, the two best yahoos on the radio every morning.
Hey, did you get that, Connor? You put that in the archives and in the promo. City Councilman. Promoting Dave and Matt in the morning. Oh, well, okay, I guess big news. Of course, we have someone from the council here every other Friday after your every other Thursday night city council meeting. And last night was the city council meeting. So what happened?
It was, 2.5 hours-ish. But is
that long or short?
That's medium.
Medium, okay.
During the budget, a lot of times, I've been there, my first year, Matt, I think budget, we went almost to midnight. So those days can get pretty long.
Yeah.
But you do get up, take a break every couple hours. But in this case, most of our work last night was based upon planning and zoning cases because we've got an older planning and zoning plan, and we've got a city committee redoing a new comprehensive land use plan. So there's a lot of growth in this city, thus a lot of planning and zoning issues as we continue to grow. So we reviewed several cases there. That will probably continue until we get the new plan in place, which is probably about 6 months to a year from now.
Okay.
So what are the biggest problems that Lubbock is facing right now, in your estimation?
And I'm glad you asked that question, Dave, because our next meeting, we're actually having a goal-setting plan, and that so that not just council members and the mayor determine the direction, the issues of our city, but in my opinion, and I'll go ahead and share this with your listeners, my number one, without a doubt, will be crime. As our city has expanded to over 250,000 people, and it's heavily based on crime against property, not so much violent crime. Yes, we have violent crime. I'm not denying that.
Well, Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more. We had Sheriff Kelly Rowe on here 6-8 weeks ago, and I asked him to bring some numbers. I asked him if he had some crime numbers, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, but I think he said that violent crime in Lubbock was up 47%. Now this was as of when we had him on the show. It was up 47% over the previous 12 months.
Yeah.
Now that's a big hit. Now he was saying that this is almost exclusively due to drugs.
Yes.
We have had,
and if you're not in that lifestyle or around that lifestyle, then you're probably not going to see the violent crime.
Yeah,
but
it has to be decimating some of our communities.
I applaud President Trump in making the opioid epidemic an issue. Let's bring it to the forefront, and we know that for our city, it's very serious.
Yeah,
we don't want to scare people, but the bottom line is where most people are affected by this crime is they get their car broken into, or the lawnmower, or golf clubs taken out of the garage, and yes, we need to always be aware of our neighborhoods, and we've actually had some town hall meetings where Neighborhood Watch is a program of yesteryear that we've got some neighborhoods bringing back, and this may go forward after we have our planning meeting. But the bottom line is that these poor folks that are hooked end up needing another $50, so they're going to break a window to steal your laptop or in your vehicle. The burglary issues and it's not just. We need to understand. If I had the hot map, which is what Lubbock Police use to determine where crime happens in my district, my hot map, it's it's not just one or two areas.
Yeah,
it's all over our city.
Yeah,
but the way that the FBI rates violent crime is they include crimes against property as violent crime. Thus, the rating system in which the police administration tells me how the rating system is, it's kind of skewed, and I don't understand it as well as obviously Sheriff Rowe. Sheriff Rowe does a great job, and I think our local policing and sheriff agencies will get together. I think that you're going to see a major effort going forward, especially when it comes to drugs.
Well, is something as you mentioned, our president yesterday made this a national emergency.
Yes,
and I think he's right. I mean, I've seen some of the 60 Minutes report. It's almost unbelievable. Almost unbelievable, the number of kids mostly that die from these opioids. And, I guess, are we talking about these amateur chemists that are making opioids in their back alley or something?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that there is some of that, yes. But I think that now they're
coming across the border?
Right now they're blaming the companies that are making the pills. The opioid, saying that they're putting too much out on the market for people that aren't really necessarily needing them.
This country has got to get a handle on this. I mean, it's serious.
Yes, it is,
and it's beginning to affect us here in little old Lubbock, Texas. Which we're pretty much immune to that kind of stuff that goes on in New York City.
We have
and Chicago,
and part of that is distributed through minor gangs.
Yeah.
It's not just local one-offs. There's some organization to it also.
Well, are we hearing anything from PD and sheriff about wanting a council to maybe have more, let them hire more people or anything like that?
In our budget that started October 1, we're just a few weeks into the new budget. We included salary position 10 more police officers. So we were at 433. This will get us to not quite 450, of course, but we know that we felt like we were close, but because of this, I think we'll see this discussion come
the
up
way this town
again.
is growing, man, we're going to be adding police and PD and sheriff.
And that goes along with our community policing effort with our substation plan.
Let's take a break real quick. We'll be back. News Talk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM. We are KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. And we're back with City Councilman Jeff Griffith, who we were talking during the break there about how Lubbock is growing, and it just amazes me. I've been here. Next year will be my 50th year in Lubbock, and I have never seen the growth. And I've said this, I know people getting tired of me saying it, but I've never seen as much growth as we're experiencing right now. And we've got some new places that are coming to Lubbock, don't we?
Yeah, we continue to have new hotels popping up. The A-Loft on West 34th outside the Loop just broke ground for that. I believe it's over 40 rooms. We've got the DoubleTree that is rehabilitating a downtown, what used to be a Radisson. I believe that would be about 6th and Avenue Q. There's one planned west of the Wells Fargo Tower that hadn't broke ground yet, but
they're going to go from the ground up.
Yeah,
west of Wells Fargo Tower.
So there, we hope that the growth will continue because there's a lot of rooms being added,
and a new IT company.
Yes, this is something that's outstanding. That a company based in Southern California and Italy selected Lubbock to bring $60,000 a year jobs, and it is an IT based software company, and they will be in the old Federal Courthouse building on Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now tell us what they're doing. Obviously, they're not going to occupy that whole courthouse.
The majority of it, I believe, is the basement, because the upper floors of that are being redone as we speak, and they're about to start leasing them as loft apartments. And they are cool. Guys, it's a really, really neat project to take a building built in 1932-33, right after the Depression.
But built well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, good point, Dave. And the that's been an issue for years, that historic building, and now the loft apartments are going to be, I mean, they're incredible. I've toured it twice. But yes, the business entity will house basically the basement, and the coding business, which I know very little about, but software, I believe healthcare is their main focus.
Now, am I thinking about? There's also the old federal post office is down.
That was in the same building.
Okay, that's all right. All right.
I always call it the federal courthouse because, by the way, one of the loft apartments that they're constructing is still got. I mean, it's in the old courthouse. It's really
boy, that's going to be historic, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you got the Pioneer Hotel is still. Are they about full? Do you know?
I think they're getting close. I think the West Table Restaurant's adding a brew pub in the corner of that building, so you'll see some construction there, right on Broadway, that adding kind of a brewery component to it. That's underway as we speak.
Yeah, and that's all downtown, boy, which we need desperately. We need new business construction downtown.
Yes,
do something.
There's several other projects we can't get into yet that are being formatted for downtown, but. I assure you this, not just with Buddy Holly Hall, Citizens Tower project, those two big projects, but you're going to see Lubbock downtown change dramatically. We've been talking about it for decades.
Yeah.
I think we need to be honest with the citizens of Lubbock, y'all, in that you go back in history and remember that, and Dave, you're talking about your 50-year anniversary of being a Lubbockite. In 1970, when we had a tornado, a lot of people don't realize that where the Civic Center is, that was a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that got totally wiped out.
The tornado went right through there.
We speak of it many times, 26 lives lost, that event. But that residential neighborhood was gone. And then within 2 years later, the South Plains Mall was built.
Yeah.
So we had a mass exodus of business and retail,
the mall,
plus a lot of residential gone. So it's taken decades for us to get where
you're exactly spot on. The mall made a big change in Lubbock. There's the music. We've got to go. Jeff, we appreciate you coming out and bringing us up to speed on what's happening in our city government.
We appreciate what you guys do. Everybody, let's have a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, go Astros.
Yeah. You got it. 7:29 this morning. We'll be right back after this break.